President Biden in a desperate bid to save his reelection campaign after his disastrous debate last week. New reports say that while Democrats, they're rallying behind the president publicly, many are raising doubts about his candidacy privately. Donors are worried that the ticket is on a path to defeat, and they could be right. Politico is now reporting that Democratic Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has told Biden's campaign that the critical battleground state of Michigan, he needs that to win. And she says it's no longer winnable. And in another blow, this New York Times headline, to serve his country, President Biden should leave the race. That was the editorial board. But the Biden team says he's not going anywhere, confirming to Fox that the president has no plans to drop out. New reports claim First Lady Jill Biden is largely to credit for that. And while the Biden campaign is in a tailspin, the First Lady defended Joe in her new Vogue spread. This popped today. Jill's interview for the cover was done last week before the debate, but the magazine called after the national reaction and got this comment from the First Lady, quote, "They will not let those 90 minutes define the 4 years he's been president. We will continue to fight." She added, "We will always do what's best for the country." You know, Rebecca, I want to put that picture back up because I think it's an important one. This is the First Lady. She's on Vogue. And according to reports from Kate Bennett and others, that's a multi-$1,000 outfit she's wearing, very much in touch with the American people. The Daily Mail reported it was more than that. And the Daily Mail said the photo portrays an image of authority at a time Democrats say she is the only one who can take Joe Biden off the ticket. Vogue says it is Jill Biden who will remain the president's closest confidant. So the question becomes, who's running the country?
Well, evidently, it is Dr. Jill Biden advising the president. And of course, there's a new reported piece that says that President Biden is taking advice from Hunter Biden as well about some of his decisions. So we know those two are deeply influential. You know, I would take Jill Biden's, I would take her up on the offer. She says if that 90 minutes, she doesn't want that to define his presidency, then let's do an unscripted Q&A with President Biden every week. From here on out, let's hear it. Because I got questions about Afghanistan. He did not answer them. He answered a question on Afghanistan in response to a question about the economy. He didn't know, evidently, that there were 13 service members killed during the precipitous withdrawal, or that 3 American service members were killed in Jordan just 6 months ago. So let's hear some more unscripted, no teleprompter questions from President Biden.
It's a great idea. You know, Kennedy, Katie Rogers of the New York Times had some reporting about what they did this weekend. You know, you'd think after a debate performance like this, you'd all regroup, you'd rethink maybe running. No, not the Bidens. Let's put it up. Here's Katie Rogers at the New York Times. Camp David, Biden spent the morning not having a summit, but in hair and makeup for a shoot with Annie Leibovitz, Vogue photog who shot Biden, Obama, Clinton in March, then suggested doing something informal with the Bidens. Family suggested this week because Hunter and family in town. Well, Chad Gilmartin asked the question, America's getting a part-time president who's easily confused and exhausted. They get fame, fortune, and Vogue covers.
Yeah, isn't that, that's neat. And that's really the kind of glossy stuff you should do post-presidency. And I think there are a lot of Democrats who certainly would have celebrated the one term of President Biden. But now it wasn't just the 90 minutes that is defining his presidency or his life in public service. It betrays someone who is incapable of the most basic tasks of being a human being, not to mention the most powerful, important job in the world. We cannot have a 6-hour president. The presidency requires someone who, you know, like Hillary Clinton said, can wake up in the middle of the night and take that 2 a.m. phone call. He can't do that. And, you know, of course, Jill Biden and Hunter Biden want him to hang on to the presidency because they are the beneficiaries of the power and the access and all the trappings that go with the job. So these are the last 2 people he should be listening to. But you've got the New York Times, you've got the Atlantic, you've got the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, you know, all of these major media outlets calling for him to step aside. But because of hubris and ego and the desire for power, he absolutely cannot let himself.
Andy, and if you believe the reporting, Jill Biden and her office, Anthony Bernal works in her office. They've been a large part of this cover-up, and it goes back 3 years. Listen to this very closely. This is an anecdote, not from July 4th last year, but 3 years ago. And it says this: Biden's behavior stunned many in the White House, in part because Biden's closest aides, often led by Jill Biden's top aide, Anthony Bernal, and Deputy Chief of Staff Annie Tomasini, took steps early in his term to essentially rope off the president. Here it is. On July 4th, 2021, Biden hosted a party on the South Lawn. It was a hot day, and after hours outside, Biden went into the White House through the diplomatic room, into the nearby map room. He sat down, and the door was abruptly shut as Biden's aides blocked the White House butlers and resident staff from aiding the president. They've siphoned off the resident staff.
Yeah, I think it's time to have 25th Amendment hearings.
Wow.
Look, I don't really care that much about the campaign when it comes to this issue. I come at it kind of like Rebecca comes at it. I started to prosecute jihadists back in the 90s. The threat environment we're in today is reminiscent of right before 9/11, except right before 9/11, we didn't have war raging in Europe and in the Middle East, where Israel's looking at a two-front war now. It's crazy to have someone who's not compos mentis president.
Yep. Emily.
Right. And I just point to Matt Gorman's what he wrote, which was the idea that folks who have fallen in love with the relevance and fame that Biden has brought them will willingly give that up is hilarious. That goes to Hunter and the grandchildren and Dr. Jill. Emily Gooden's article was phenomenal. I encourage everyone to read it because it touches on everything we're talking about today. Sequestering the president so resident staff and aide didn't see the extent of his health issues. And by the way, if he's the only one that can save democracy, I thought these 4 years speak for themselves and have been incredible. Why do we need saving? Hasn't he been the president?
Yep, good question. Well, we're also learning new details about President Biden's mental state and how he is, quote, dependably engaged only between, listen to this, the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.